Hi there, I'm Surang from Englishman. And today it is totally immersion. ඔයා මුළුමනින්ම ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවේ ගිලෙන්ඩයි යන්නේ. මුළුමනින්ම ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාව ඇහෙන ලෝකයකට ගියාම ඒකේ ගිලුනම තමයි කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. සිංහලත් එක්ක මිශ්‍ර වුණාම මේ වැඩේ හරියට වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක තමයි අපි හැමදෙනාටම වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ ගැන මම කතා කරන්නේ අපි ස්ටෝරි එකට යමු. right. ඒ ගැන මම කතා කරලා තියෙනවනේ. The blind man and the elephant. The blind man and the elephant. ඒ කියන්නේ අන්ධ මිනිසා සහ අලියා කියන එක. දැන් ඔබට මේ කතාව අහලා තියෙනවා. මම මේ පින්තූරය ඔබට පෙන්නනවා. You know what that is. Yeah, you know the story. So it is very easy for you to understand the story. ඒකෙන් ඔබට ස්ටෝරි එක තේරුම් ගන්න හරි ලේසි. හැබැයි අද මම හිතන්නේ මේකෙදි මම මේ වචන ලොකුවට විස්තර කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. ඔබ මේ කියන දේවල් වලින් මේ කතාව පිළිබඳව අදහස් 60ක් විතර හෝ ඊට වැඩියෙන් තේරෙනවා නම් ඉතින් හරි හොඳයි. ඒ තේරෙන්නේ නැති වචන හෝ ස්ට්‍රක්චර්ස් හෝ පැටර්න් හෝ ඒ මංගල්ල ගැන කරදර වෙන්න යන්න එපා ඔළුව. සෞතු කරගන්න යන්න එපා. ඒක ඇනලයිස් කරන්න යන්න එපා. විශ්ලේෂණය කරන්න යන්න එපා. මොකද්ද පැටර්න් එක, මොකද්ද ටෙන්ස් එක, ඉන්ෆිනිටිව්ද, ජෙරන්ඩ් ඒ මංගල්ල විසි කරන්න. විසි කරලා මේක විනින්න. එතකොට තමයි ලැන්ග්වේජ් පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. You learn languages when you understand languages. Yeah. Stephen Krashen. The blind man and the elephant. There were once 6 blind men. I heard 5 blind men, but here in this story it is 6 blind men. There were once 6 blind men, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blind men were anxious to learn all they could. They were anxious to learn. That is worried in a way. Anxious means worried and nervous. Something like that. Anxious. When we are watching a cricket match, last over, if it is really critical, we become really anxious. Muralidharan daila bole. Yeah, something like that. There were once 6 blind men who are anxious to learn all they could. All they could. Yeah. All they can, all they could. Yeah, past. So they wanted to learn everything. I mean, if they are going somewhere, they want to learn about all these things around. Something like that. There were once 6 blind men who were anxious to learn all they could. In a very simple way, they wanted to learn everything that they find, about. One day they had a dispute as to what an elephant was like. And as of course, not one of them had ever seen an elephant. They all had different ideas about it. Yeah. One day they had a dispute. One day they had a cake. No, not they had a cake. One day they had a dispute. That is, dispute means an argument, or we can say sort of a disagreement. One day they had a dispute. Dispute is, if we have a dispute, we have argument. So a disagreement. No, not like that. So disagreement. That is a dispute. Dispute. One day they had a dispute as to what an elephant was like. As to what elephant was like. I think elephant is just like coca. Elephant is just like panua. They would think, That is, they wanted to know about an elephant. They were thinking about an elephant. They have never seen an elephant. One day they had a dispute as to what an elephant was like. And as of course, really, not one of them had ever seen an elephant. None of them has seen an elephant, ever seen an elephant. They have not seen an elephant. They have no idea what an elephant is. And of course, not one of them, at least one of them, not 6, at least one of them. Yeah. Out of 6, 1. No. They have not seen an elephant. As of course, not one of them have ever seen an elephant. They all have different ideas about it. They had different ideas about it. Machang, I think elephant is just like a crow. No, I think just elephant is just like a peragao, something. They have different ideas about an elephant. They have not seen an elephant. That is the reason why they have different ideas about elephant. See what's happening. Of course, one of them had never seen an elephant. They all had different ideas about it. So, to settle the question, therefore, to settle the question is a dispute, argument, disagreement. To settle it means to come to a sort of a conclusion, to really know about what an elephant is, because now they have a dispute. Dispute is arguments, disagreement, no, things like that. So they wanted really to see, not to see, they wanted really to understand what an elephant is. Yeah, elephant was like. Yeah. And of course, they all had different ideas about it. So to settle the question, to settle this argument, to settle this dispute, to settle this disagreement, they went to examine an elephant for themselves. They went, to examine an elephant. Examination. You have examinations. I mean, in examination, what do? They give you a paper. And examine means they examine you. They want to know, education people, they want to know whether you know about the fact. So, for example, if you are going for an examinations, you are writing physics questions, that is Newton's law. They wanted to know whether you know Newton's law, first law, second law and third law of Newton. And then that is why examinations are. In examination, they test. They want to see whether you know that. That is it. So, so examine basically is sort of a testing in a way. Examine is really observing something. Examine. Yeah. You have to examine this. You observe this, what that is like. Yeah. If somebody says, yeah, you have to examine this, somebody would come and say, you have to examine this animal. What does it say? He says that you have to observe this animal to get an idea about it, the very idea about the that animal. Not just looking at. Examine means in different ways. You touch it, you look at it, you do different things, and finally, ultimately, at the end of the day, what you have to do is to find the nature of that animal. So they went to examine an elephant. Yeah. They all had different ideas about it. So to settle the question, they went to examine an elephant for themselves. For themselves. They don't want to ask anyone else. They themselves go. Yeah, they go. But as they were blind, they had to feel the animal to find out what its shape was. But they were blind. Blind means they cannot see. They had to feel the animal. Feel means touching here. Feel the animal. To find out what its shape was. They wanted to find out the shape of the animal. The first blind man coming near the elephant happened to fall against its broadside. Fall against means meeting. The side of the elephant. It was just like a wall. This area, side there, laterally, So, elephant is just like a wall, he said. Had to feel the animal to find out what its shape was. The first blind man coming near the elephant happened to fall against its broadside. Fall against means, he happened to meet, he happened to find, he happened to touch. And when he had felt this over with his hands, and when he had feeling, when he was touching that animal, felt this over with his hands, He cried out. He cried out means not cried. He cried out means made a very loud noise. Dear me, dear me, dear me means oh my God, something like that exclamation. Dear me, dear me, the elephant is very like a bull. The elephant is very like a bull. Ah, dear me. The part of the elephant which the second blind man got of was one of its long, smooth, and sharp pointed tusks. The part of the elephant which the second blind man got hold of, get hold of, holding. Get hold of means something like this. Get hold of. Hold. The bulb holder. The holder. Holder is holding the bulb. You understand? That is why we call it holder. Yeah, I mean, that gadget, electric device that holder's job is to hold the bulb. You understand what holding is? Yeah. The part of the elephant which the second blind man got hold of was one of its long, smooth, and sharp pointed tusks. Tusk is this thing. Lengthened teeth. Tusks. Yeah. Of long, smooth, and sharp pointed tusks. Smooth, very long, smooth. As he felt the task all over, he was very puzzled. Puzzled means shocked in a way. Puzzled. He didn't understand what that was, puzzle. Jigsaw puzzle. Puzzle means sort of a question, difficult to understand, puzzling. Puzzling means difficult to understand, puzzle. Yeah. As he felt the task all over, he was very puzzled. Really, he found it was really difficult to understand what that was. But at last he said, as far as I can make out, the elephant is very like a sphere. As far as I can make out. Make out means understand. Yeah, make out. Yeah. Can you make me out? Do you understand who I am? Yeah. Siripala would come and ask me after 40 years. Is that Suranga? Yeah, Suranga. Yeah. Can't you make me out? Make out means, realize, to understand, to get an idea. Yeah, things like that. As he felt the task all over, he was very puzzled, but at last he said, as far as I can make out, as far as I can understand, the elephant is very like a sphere. Elephant is very like a sphere. Sphere is sort of what we call weapon, yeah. Weapon. Sort of a weapon, a pole. Pole is a long piece of wood or something, and at the end of that piece of wood, those days in Rajakali, they used spheres. Yeah, spheres. That is a weapon. Long pole. Pole means a stick, sort of a part of a, Eslon something, Eslon pipe, something like that. And at the end of, it is really pointed and metallic. And you send it to a guy, he would die. Yeah, that is it. So, puzzle, but at least he said, as far as I can make out, the elephant is very like a sphere. සමහර අය මට කියනවා මේ සර් චුට්ටක් වේගය වැඩි කියලා. මේ කතා කරන වේගය වැඩි පොඩ්ඩක් ස්ලෝ හෙමින් කියන්න සිංහලත් එක්ක කියන්න සිංහලෙන් වචනේ තේරුම් කරලා දෙන්න කියලා. දැන් මට ඔබට මං හරි කැමති ඒ වැඩේ කරන්න. හැබැයි මම දන්නවා ඔබ වැටිලා ඉන්න උගුල ඒකට හරි බේතනේ දෙන්න ඕනි. ඉතින් මම සිංහලෙන් කියා දුන්නොත් තේරුමක් නැහැ. සිංහලෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසි තියෙන ප්‍රෝග්‍රම්ස් ඕන තරම් ඔබට තියෙනවනේ බලන්න මේකේ මං කරන එක අස්සේ සිංහල ගහන්න මං කැමති නෑ දැන් මේ කතා කරාට ඒ ඉන්න ඔබට සිංහලෙන් ප්‍රෝග්‍රම්ස් ඕන තරම් තියෙනවා මං දන්නවා සිංහල සහ ඉංග්‍රීසි දෙක මිශ්‍ර වෙලා යන්නේ ඕන තරම් ඔබට තියෙනවා ඒ පළවෙනි කාරණේ මං ඒක නෙමෙයි කරන්නේ මං වෙනින් දෙයක් කරන්නේ එතකොට මං හිතන තරහ වෙන එකක් නෑ මා එක්ක එතකොට ඒ වයින් ඒ විදිහට ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන් මේක වෙනම කණ්ඩායමක් සඳහා ඒ කියන්නේ මේක ඇත්තටම මේ ඉංග්‍රීසි අස්සට බහින්න ඕන කණ්ඩායමට මම එක් කරන එක හොඳ නෑ. මේ මැද සිංහල මිශ්‍ර කරන එක. අදාළ නැති වචනයක් මම කියනවා එන්න පුළුවන් ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේට් කරන්න රජ කාලේ කියලා කිව්වේ. ඒක රජ කාලේ මේකේ තිබුණේ නැහැ නේ. ඒක ඔයගොල්ලන් ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේෂන් එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මම පැහැදිලි කරන්න තමයි මේ කියන්නේ. එහෙම ෆස්ට් ලැන්ග්වේජ් එක L1 යූස් කරන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ කම්ප්‍රිහෙන්සිබල් ඉන්පුට් එකේ. කම්ප්‍රිහෙන්සිබල් ඉන්පුට් තියරි එකේ L1 පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් අපිට මදර් ටං එක. හැබැයි ඒක අත්‍යවශ්‍ය වෙලාවක පැහැදිලි කරන්න විතරයි. මේ මම කියනව නෙමෙයි. ඒකල කියන්නේ දැන් මම ඕකේ කියාගෙන යනකොට අර සිය කියනකොට රජ කාලේ පාවිච්චි කරා කියපුවාම ඒක කතාවේ ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේෂන් එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද කතාවේ රජ කාලේ කියන වචනේ තිබුණේ නැහැ නේ. ඒකද ඔයාට මෙතන තේරුම් ගන්න අවස්ථාවක් වෙනවා අර කතාව. ඒක හරියි. අනික් කාර්යම ස්ලෝ කරන්න කියන එක. දැන් ඕක අපිට හිනේපත් වෙලා තියෙන තව කාරණයක් ඕක තමයි. අපි සදාකාලිකවම මෙහෙම ගියාම වෙන්නේ මොකද? The part of the elephant reached the second අපිට මම ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් උගන්වනවා කියලා ඉංග්‍රීසි උගන්වනවා. හැබැයි මම මෙහෙම ඉගන්වුවොත් ඔබට මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා ඔබ කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න. The part of the elephant which the second blind man got hold of was one of its long, smooth and sharp pointed tusks. The part of the elephant's part, okay, which the second blind man got hold of. Second blind man, there are 6 guys take second blind man, you understand? Second blind man got hold of is one of its long, smooth and sharp pointed task. Sharp pointed task. දැන් මම මෙහෙම කිව්වොත් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ ඔබට අපි පාරේදී මිනිස්සු කතා කරන්නේ මේක නෙමෙයි. පාරේදී කතා කරන්නේ මේ කතා කරන විදියටනේ. ඒ වේගයට අපි හුරු වෙන්න වෙනවා. පාරේදී පාඩම් උගන්වන්න නෙමෙයි මිනිස්සු කතා කරන්නේ. හැකි ඉක්මනින් ඒවා කමියුනිකේට් කරන්න. ඉතින් මේ ලැන්ග්වේජ් ඉංග්‍රීසි දැනගත්තට ඒ ලැන්ග්වේජ් එක තේරෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න එක හේතුවක් තමයි ඒ ඩේ ටු ඩේ කන්වර්සේෂන්ස් වල ස්පීඩ් එකම නෙමෙයි. ඒ දියවිලි තේරෙන්නේ නැතිකම. ඒකින්ද මේකේ මම කියන එක ඔබට අපහැදිලි වෙනවා කියන එක තුලම ඔබට බෝනස් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒතර මම මේකේ කල්පනා කරන්නේ මම ඔහි කතා කරගෙන යනවා. එතකොට ඒකට කන ටියුන් වුණාම අනික් දේවල් තේරෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. තේරෙන්න පටන් ගත්තාම පාරවල් ඇරෙනවා. පාරවල් ඇරුණාම කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. හරි. යන්. The third blind man also coming in front of the elephant. In front of the elephant, do you understand what? In front of the elephant, not this side, this side. In front of the elephant, took hold of its long, flexible trunk. Flexible. What is flexible? Flexible. You can bend it. If something is flexible wires are flexible basically. You know what I mean. Yeah. Elephant took hold of its long, flexible trunk. Long, flexible trunk, yeah. Which squirmed about in his hands. Squirmed about. Squirm means moving here and there. In an irregular manner. I mean, in an awkward way. Squirming, yeah. Squirming. Going this way and that way, yeah. Usually the trunk is like that. We squirmed about in his hands. It's very strange. It's different. He said, but the elephant must be very like a snake, just like anaconda. I think elephant is just like a anaconda or a python. You know the python, the big snake. Even in Sri Lanka, you can see. About in his hand. It is very strange, he said, but the elephant must be very like a snake. The fourth blind man stoop means, now, this is a man. Stooping means you bend the upper half of the body front. Not this like this. Only upper half. 2 legs, these are the legs, and this upper half, chest and head, you bend this way. That is stoop. When we want to pick things up, if you drop your pencil, you have to stoop. There is another meaning for stoop. I'm not going to talk about stoop. The guy comes and he stoop. The fourth blind man stooping down, bending his body, felt the elephant's round, thick and strong leg. And he said, This wonderful animal must look very strange to those who can see it. For as far as I can make out, it is just like the trunk of a big tree. Yeah. This wonderful animal, the animal is wonderful. Some people say that it is just like a sphere. Some say it's just like a wall. Different things. But this wonderful animal, it is wonderful. It has different shapes. Wonderful animal must look very strange to those who can see it. For as far as I can, yeah, when you feel that, you feel it differently. It's strange. It's wonderful. For as far as I can make out, as I understand, it is just like the trunk of a big tree. I feel that it is just like a big tree. It was one of the elephant's ears that the fifth blind man first touched. The fifth guy, it was one of the elephant's ears. You know, the elephant ears, it's just like a fan. We know wing fan, that is kulem pola pola. Yeah, we know fan. Yeah, fan something. It was one of the elephant's ears that the fifth blind man first starts feeling it all over, feeling it all over, feeling it all over, every part of where he touched. Feeling it all over, he cried out, the elephant is not just like a tree at all. The elephant is not just like a tree at all. The only thing I can compare it is is a fan. I can compare it to a fan. It is just like a fan. Limpola pola, Golkata ulala. Yeah. The sixth blind man, meanwhile, during the period, the sixth blind man, meanwhile, at the same time, had come to the elephant from behind, from this side, not front, and had ceasing, holding, seized its small swinging tail, swinging, going this way and that way, swing, you know, swinging. In New Year period, you have swings, swinging, the act of swinging. Swinging tail, tail is swinging this way and that way. I see the elephant is very like a piece of rope. Yeah. I think elephant is just like a rope. You know what rope is? Yeah, rope is a thick cord made up of coir. Coir is the sort of tiny fiber coming from coconut husks. Coconut husk is the outer part of the coconut. You know, coconut has very tiny fibers. Fibers, they some are managed to twist fibers so that it comes to a shape of a cord. If the cord is really big, we call it a rope. Yeah, very like a piece of rope. Having all, as they thought, examined the elephant, they met together to compare notes. Then they met together to compare notes, what they have noticed. To compare notes means to talk about observations, yeah. But each man believed that it was right. Everybody believed that that guy, he himself right. Yeah, I thought I'm right, you're wrong. And everybody thought so. All the rest were wrong. Yeah. The first guy thought he was right, all the others were wrong. That is the thing. That is what is happening. I'm going to talk about that. One insisted that the elephant was like a wall. One insisted. Insisted means, he was really firm, demand. He says in a very stubborn way. Yeah. One insisted that the elephant was like a wall. One said it's a wall, just like a wall, and another that it was like a sphere. The third, a snake. Fourth, a tree. Fifth, a fan. And the sixth, a rope. As a matter of fact, in a way, to tell you the truth, each one of them was partly right. Oh, that is what is important. They are not wrong. That is the story. We don't understand that. They are not wrong completely. They are right, but partially. Yeah. Was partially right. Partially means they are not completely right, not completely wrong, but one half of what they know is right, the other half is wrong. Yeah, was partly right. For each correctly described one part of the elephant. But each of them was wrong in thinking that the part he felt was the whole animal. But here the problem is everybody has felt one part of the elephant. One thinks that it is just like a snake, one thinks that it is just like a tree, yeah, things like that. But they do not want to come together. They don't want to be together to get the conclusion. They think I'm right. You think you are right. He thinks he is right. So if they come together, machang, oh yeah. I think there is something true in what you say. Maybe elephant has a snake-like thing, tree-like thing, rope-like thing, a sphere-like thing, things like that. Then elephant should be somebody having all sort of things. No, they don't want to do that. They think they are right. That is where we go wrong in our life, mostly. This is a commercial break, yeah. And we have started recently our third batch spoken English, and from day one they are speaking. And I give you the link in the description. You can see. And today I'm going to upload the second day, but only 2 weeks we are allowing students to come. Maybe you are interested, but you should not decide unless you watch the videos below to see what's happening here. If you are quite satisfied, you can join, but only few days. Yeah, so therefore, we want to do the work in a good way. So therefore, next Monday is the last day. You can join. And then if not, if you are interested, we are starting our fourth course on October 8th, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Okay, bye.